Hey everybody, it's Nathan Cool with NathanCoolPhoto.com, and in this tutorial I'm going to show you that drone-free, no FAA license required alternative to doing some aerial photography using the Manfrotto 24-footer. This is a very large tripod. It actually reminds you of a very large light stand, and it can get to about 25 feet in height. It's actually a 24-footer, but then when you add everything on top of it, it does go big. Now, this is not for the faint of heart. This is not your typical light stand. This is made out of aluminum. It's fairly light, but it still weighs about 25 pounds. Once you put then a ball head on top of it, you got your camera on top of it, it gets even heavier. Now I keep a ball head on top of this, and I'll show you the setup in just a second for what all that includes and how I mount the camera, some of the pictures that I take with it. But to give you an idea of what this can do without having to use a drone, you can get shots like this. So this particular shot was done for a yard, needed to show the pool, the backyard, and I only shot this one at about 15 feet high. Here's some other stuff here too where I've even gone a little bit higher, but really don't need to get all that high. This was just to shoot a property. They need to show a whole plot of land to see this. And here's another one too that I didn't have to really get too high. It was about between 15 and 20 feet to be able to show some of the waterways around this particular property. So there's a lot of things you can do with this, and I talk about this in a lot of detail in my new book on exteriors, which is Real Estate Photography for Exteriors. And I've got a link to that down in the description for this video. And so you can get that book as well and get a lot more detailed information. In fact, how to do panoramics with this, how to blend those together properly, and also how to avoid any distortion with that, because there's going to be some issues with this. But first, let me just show you what this actually contains, how to set it up, and then how to use this as you go ahead and shoot some drone-free aerials. Now, once again, this thing's very heavy, even though it's made out of aluminum, weighs about 25 pounds. So to set this guy up, now usually a lot of times I'll take this and I'll carry it, and in today's day and age, you have to be careful. It looks like I'm actually carrying a 50 caliber machine gun. But carrying it like this with it braced up against my body as I get to where I'm going on site, one hand on one of the legs, another one supporting it. It's really not that heavy to then take it out into the field. Now, once you have it set up, moving it around can be kind of hard. You have to have a real strong back and legs if you're going to not tear it down and move it around. So what I do is I have a base charge that I charge my clients for the first two pictures for one setup, and then there's about half that price when it goes to every other setup. So if they want to have more angles, more views, then they charge me for that, and I basically is paying for my time to set it up and tear it down. But just like any other light stand you'd have, you just unscrew typically what you release the legs. So you do that. And this guy then, he's made by Manfrotto, so they're actually very good quality. Once you get those done, it just pretty much opens up on its own. Now it's a pretty big footprint that you have to work with, and of course then you tighten that down. So that works pretty good. You can put it, move it around as you need to. Now the nice thing with this, once you have it set up, is you can level it. Now this is different from a cheaper alternative that runs about $200 less Manfrotto makes. That's another 24-footer, but it's really a light stand. So this has 3 leveling legs. So with the leveling legs, you've got a bubble level that you can then gauge what you need to do. So for instance, in this case, I would look at that bubble level and I can see that I'm way off. So you just go ahead and loosen these legs. You'd move them into places you need to, and you get that bubble level where you should have it. Now at this point, you shouldn't be using your camera on this at all, not yet, because you want to be able to get this level before you actually move forward. So once you get it in place to where you need it, then you'd go ahead and mount the camera. So the setup for this looks like this. Now I keep an Arca Swiss mount on all of my cameras, and that's because I use a Peak design strap, and it makes it easier to then carry that around. Something I also show in the exteriors book. But with that, I can mount that into the ball head, and I use just a Sarui ball head on top of the stand. And then of course, then I use a Cam Ranger, because once you get so high, there's no way you're going to be able to control the camera. So to change the settings, see what you're doing, what's going on, then use the Cam Ranger. So anyways, that's mounted into here, and one of the important things though with mounted into the ball head is that with a lot of these ball heads you have a safety pin. So you can see in this image here, the safety pin goes to the front, you would slide the camera in from the back. Once you have that in there, then you can then tilt the camera down a little bit. And at this point, I like to use virtual horizon on the camera. So you can see in this picture here, virtual horizon, I'm able to angle this down about 20 degrees or so. And then that gives you that effect of using a drone. then all you have to do is start raising this guy up. Now it comes in different sections. You don't want to start at the bottom, you want to start at the top. But if you don't have to go to 25 feet, don't start with the top. This guy here is the thinnest section, so the best thing to do is to start at the one below it. And so you just go ahead and take this and you start raising it. And of course, you might have seen me do this in another video where I raise it up section by section like so. So I'm starting at one section, I'm moving it up, take it to another section, move it up, take it to another section, move it up, until you need to get it all the way as high as you want to go. Now, once I've raised this up as high as I want to do, then I've already got it leveled from not just the base of it and not just from the camera. So now I can compose it. I know I'm going to be level. I can then twist by just taking the bottom one. So even if I've gone up real far, and you can see this is, the bottom section is super hefty. It's like a mizzen mast on a ship. You can take and just loosen that a little bit and twist it. So when it comes to doing panoramics, for instance, you can take a shot, you can then turn it a little bit, take another shot. So sometimes too, what I do on a property is I get it nice and level so that both directions I'm shooting level, and I can shoot this direction to show that side of the property and just turn it around, shoot this direction. And sometimes I'll just go bam, shoot, bam, all the way across. I've got a whole selection of stuff. Then I can, blend that together later in post-processing to get all kinds of different panoramic views or something that looks like a larger wide angle. So there's a lot of variety you can do with just using this. Anyways, that's about it for the Manfrotto 24-footer. I use this thing quite a bit. It goes into my car quite often for a lot of shoots. It's really not that hard to set up. You can see it does take a little bit of muscle power to get this guy in there. So that's probably the biggest downfall. And besides that, you can only go up to 25 feet. Anyways, I hope this video is useful for you and that you can use some of this in your photography as well. I cover a lot more of this in the exterior book, which you can get online. Once again, that's down in the description here. But if you want to see more videos like this that won't cost you anything at all, you can subscribe to this YouTube channel. It won't cost you anything. As soon as one of these videos is posted, you'll be the first to know. Thanks a lot for watching. Take care, be safe, and get out there and shoot something.